back with Bobby and JJ Radio. If you're just joining us, we've been speaking with the Elite Attorney Magazine folks, and we're now speaking with Russell Amsberry, that specializes in family, employment, and probate law, and we're going to dive right back into it. Russell, so tell us a little bit about the family law side of your business, and how you're able to help someone throughout the entire divorce process.
For a lot of people, they want to determine what is their fair share in terms of the divorce process. And for different people, it means different things. They also want to protect their assets. They want to make sure that their children are given the best environment to be able to transition once a divorce happens. And so oftentimes you want to look at those things to make sure that you get your fair share, that the assets are protected, that we try to make the process as seamless as possible.
Right. So and we're talking about assets right now in the green room, how Bobby has over 300 pairs of Jordans for whatever reason.
And millions of dollars.
No, not that at all. So someone like Bobby that is single, he is not...
Good looking.
No, okay.
Stunning.
That's all. Let's talk about facts. He's single. He's not technically married right now. What would you tell Bobby about benefits of having a prenuptial agreement?
I think the most important question is, how do you bring up that question without offending them?
Russell's not going to help you with that.
All right, let's go with your question.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's got different circumstances, and I think that it's always a tender point to bring up that. I don't think that would be the initial comment that would immediately follow after you're making a marriage proposal. Here's your ring, and by the way, this is what my lawyer presented to me. I need to sign this within 24 hours. That probably wouldn't be a very...
That's not romantic?
Probably not the most romantic take on things, but I think that oftentimes there are situations, depending on the unique circumstances. Sometimes people have a wide range of difference in ages. So you see sometimes people marrying someone who may be 20 years apart, and so the collective assets that individual may have who's older may be considerably larger than the person who's the younger spouse.
Sure.
And then sometimes there's just differences where one party or one of the spouses has considerably more assets and resources, and that could be through inheritance or other things, and they want to preserve and protect that as much as possible.
And that's business owners too. That's another facet that you have to kind of really recognize, is that if you have an independent business owner or you're 50% partner, like Bobby's my 50% partner, so I'm always scared.
Business partner, not life.
Business partner, right? Mm-hmm. And I always want to vet. I always want to vet the girl before I meet her. I'm like, I don't want her to have anything to do with my business if something goes wrong.
So how would you protect a business in that situation?
Bobby's trying to get free legal advice right now on the air, actually.
Well, I think that's a really excellent point, because there are actually circumstances where people did not have some type of an agreement, whether it be through their business bylaws or through a prenuptial agreement, and then where a spouse of could be the CEO, the president, whatever it may be.
Well, Bobby's a janitor, but yeah.
Who's very high-ranking janitor, and that individual though, has their wife come in and say, okay, they've been not in the picture for 20 years, but now I'm going to take command, and this is how we do things.
I want to be part of the board or whatever. Yeah.
Right, and that isn't always a very favorable solution.
Sure. And so definitely they might want to talk to you before they even get into
the spouse can take a portion of control.
Bobby, just hire Russell.
Of the partner's part of the business, right?
Well, they could step in that person's shoes if for whatever reason, say for instance you passed, or if due to the interest that, say, hypothetically you as a very high-ranking janitor may have in the enterprise, and say that they want to now
Russell's my favorite lawyer, by the way.
Get their fair share of what is, your 40% as a janitor or 50%.
Because those are my mops.
Yeah, it's been his mom since day one. So tell us a little bit about, real quick tidbit on how you can help parents with custody issues.
When you're looking at custody, that's always a term that people throw out. And the family code doesn't actually use that term, but oftentimes people look at what's a primary residence. And if you're looking at modifying that, or you're trying to, in initial divorce proceeding, prevail in getting the primary residence, courts look at a lot of things. They want to know who's been having the most involvement with the child, who is providing the best stability, who creates the best role model for the child, and a variety of other factors.
Sure.
But ultimately, the courts look at what we call the best interest of the child, and there's case law that looks at about 10 or so different factors.
And so, you're going to walk everyone through all those things and make sure that they're on the up and up, and proving that in those 10 factors that they're the best candidate for custody, quote unquote.
Yes, sir. And there's in being a good lawyer, you want to advocate for your client, and so to the degree that you can prepare and set things up in a way that's going to advance your client's interest, then we try to look at doing doing those things strategically as well.
Gotcha. If
I
anyone
may have to get you to draft something up for me.
Yeah, he's definitely. If you're about to get married, or if you are looking for some family law advice or anything employment or probate, please contact Mr. Russell Amsberry at 210-354-2244. Again, that's 354-2244. We'll be right back.